y'all, and welcome to another part of my story, another recap of my childhood, as I'm recapping my childhood. So, today we are going to recap my childhood at my grandmother's house, because it was also a big part of my childhood and a big part of what shaped me. At my grandmother's house, my grandmother, she really showed me what having faith is and what being a strong woman in God means. And she really did live that role, and she lived it fully and completely. And I love her. I love her so much. And she loved me, and that was so beautiful. She would put me to bed every single night telling me that she loves every single bone in my body. And I felt that, I felt the love off of her. And waking up in the mornings there felt so beautiful. It was like home. It really was. It was like home. And I loved living at my grandmother's. And my grandma also ran an in-home daycare, so she always had babies around. I loved babies so much. I loved getting to play with the babies all day long while my grandma was doing her household chores, and we would watch, kids TV. We had Nickelodeon and we had Disney Channel, so we had all the cool stuff, and I would watch TV and play with the babies all day long. So I loved it at my grandma's, and I loved getting to play with the babies and to interact with them and to watch her taking care of them. I was just taking note of everything because I wanted to be a mother. I wanted to be a mama. So, yeah, at the very, very beginning of my story, I told you about this time that I was a baby, I guess, or a toddler. I remember being like in a crib location and crying and feeling like I'm being choked. And my uncle pulled my shirt down, and it made me feel better. And it was like, how did he know? My uncle, I looked up to him so much. He was 10 years older than me, but to me, he was just amazing. He was an awesome person, and anything he did, I wanted to do. And it was crazy because I always felt like I was being choked. And I have a lot of memories of being choked and suffocated as a small child. And I remember one time seeing my uncle just sitting and watching TV with his shirt, like holding his shirt out. And I was like, oh my gosh, you can do that? Because shirts always choked me. There's no way I could wear a turtleneck. But yeah, and so I started doing that all the time. My aunt said something about it. Like, my uncle does it. Because, yeah, I would do anything he would do. And if he did it, it was like it was a permission slip for me to do it. I was into everything he did. I played with all of his cars, and I played with all of his Legos. I learned how to build Lego houses. And he had these really cool animatronic robots that you could put together and then set it off, and it would walk across the room, and it was really cool. I played with all of his stuff. Whenever he would leave, he wouldn't allow me in his room, but he would leave all the time. He was always gone. So yeah, I was always in his room. And yeah, there was this one time that my dad pulled up with the big truck, and my dad gave me a magnifying glass, and I loved this magnifying glass, and my uncle thought that it was his, and he took it and kept it in his room. I went and got that back all the time. He would get it back again, and I would go get it back again. So yeah, and if my uncle wanted something to eat, I was like, I want what he wants. I always wanted whatever he wanted, and he didn't necessarily like it. But whenever I got older, I was 11, around the age 11, he got a girlfriend, and he's 10 years older than me, and this girlfriend, she really liked me, and she really liked, I guess, playing house with him, I guess. She would always ask him to come get me and take me places. So they were always taking me places. They would take me to the zoo, and they would take me to all kinds of fun kid places around the town and the fair and stuff like that. And so I loved her, and she was, it was a lot of fun. And at my grandmother's house, I was really, really spiritual. I was really into spirituality, and my grandmother, everything was organized. There was a schedule there. I always knew what was happening, and we always went to church on Sundays. We always went to church on Wednesdays, and I always prayed, and I would always get answers too. I talked to God. I talked to Jesus, and that's where my closeness and my faith to God and Jesus really was formed, was at my grandmother's house. And a lot of times I would pray at night for visions of the future, and I would be given visions. And one of my most vivid dreams that I remember was, please show me, am I going to have babies? Because I'd always pray for a baby girl, and am I going to have a baby girl? Please show me. And I was given a vision, and I was in this house with two girls. They were grown, and I knew that they were my twin sisters, and there were three girls in this house. And we were at a bunk. I was in the frame of the room, and there was a bunk bed, and the three girls were just climbing everywhere, and my twin sisters were there grown, and they were smiling, and I knew that we had just gotten these bunk beds, and I have three girls. And I woke up, and I knew that I was going to have three girls. I kind of forgot that as I got older, but I did remember that dream, and there's other dreams that I had that some have come in true and some have not, but I would talk to God through my dreams. Most of the time I wouldn't ask that far into the future. I would ask for, what do I need to do my best tomorrow at school. Most of the time it would be like direct things in the now. So, but I did have future vision dreams as a child, and yeah, I think that came from the prayer life and the religion that I was taught. The Christianity, they taught me to be close to God and to be open to it. And then I just naturally was from there. I think at church, everybody has a song that touches their heart. And for me, at church, there was this song that if they sang it at invitational, it just would touch my heart every single time. And the name of that song was "For Those Tears I Died." And that song has always touched my heart. And it's like I knew as a child that I didn't need it yet, but I was gonna need that song. And then as an adult, there were times that at my lowest, that song would play in the background. And it's always really moved me and meant something to me. And, I just want to say the words to that song here and now. You said you'd be there to share all my sorrows. You said you'd be there for all my tomorrows. I came so close to pushing you away, but just like you promised, you came there to stay. I just had to pray. And Jesus said, "Come to the water. Stand by my side. I know you are thirsty. You won't be denied." I felt every teardrop when in darkness you cried, and I strove to remind you that for those tears I died. It was so powerful to me as a child, so powerful, and I knew to implant that into my heart, that it was going to be needed, and it has been. So, yeah, that's all I really got to say about my grandmother's side. It was a really lovely, I'm so grateful that I got to experience that. Like, I think to myself, there are people that are raised in stable Christian environments, and it's strange to me how they didn't go off and see a strip club and then go off and see a bunch of hillbillies getting down, So, I don't know. I'm grateful for the life that I've lived. I love my life. I am so grateful for my life. So beyond grateful. And I think that one really cool aspect of my reality is that I'm an only child, but I have so many brothers and sisters. I have a lot of sisters. But I'm an only child. I'm the only one that my mother and my father had. No one else was created from my mother and my father. And it's like that with a lot. Like my brother, he is an only child, yet he has two sisters. And my sister, she's an only child, but she's got a brother and a lot of sisters. And yeah, except for the twins, they're not the only child. They're twins, but they're the only ones with their mom and dad. And it's really interesting to think about the relationship of, because we're all half sisters. We're half brothers and half sisters. And, you know, me and my brother have the same mom, but him and his sister have the same dad. Her dad's not my dad, and her mom's not my mom, and her brother has the same mom, but he has a different dad than her. Her dad is my brother's dad. And me, I really love her. She's my sister. But but she's not related to me at all. She's my brother's sister. So it's really interesting how my family plays out. And I just want to explain that to y'all because it's really fun. It's fun to explain, just like I was explaining right there. It's really crazy. And if you think about the relationship of my sister's brother, right? Because that's where I would start with him because it would make more sense. So, because he doesn't have another brother or sister, I don't believe. So, his relationship to my brother's brother's sister, okay? That's what we're going to do. We're going to do my sister's brother's relationship to my brother's brother's sister. Okay? So, let's see how this goes. My sister's brother, it's his sister's brother's brother's sister. That's how far the line goes. And it's really crazy because my brother's sister is not related to my sister's brother at all. At all. Once you get that far away, they're not related at all. But it's really crazy. Like, I'm not related to my sister's brother. My sister and I have the same dad. Her brother and her have the same mom. My brother and I have the same mom. But my brother and I don't have the same dad. His sister has the same dad with him. And then her brother has the same mom as her. And then his dad has the same dad as his sister. But his sister doesn't have the same mom at all. Are y'all following along? Yeah, so this is my family, y'all. This is my family. And I've hung out with my sister and her brother. Not very much, but I've hung out with my brother and his sister and her brother and even his sister, So it's really cool. And I have a lot of half-sisters because my dad, he has a lot of baby mamas. And so I love my half-sisters and they're the best. I have one stepsister. My dad, I think he was married to her mother twice. They're no longer married, I do believe, but we will be stepsisters for life, and there's nothing you can do about that. So, I love my life, and I love it, and I hope you guys do too. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for being here. I am so glad that you guys are with me still. This is amazing. Yeah, here we are, just on this healing journey. I'm learning and finding myself, and I can't wait to help you learn and find yourself. But, as always, be blessed with my story. That's all she got.